Alright, gang, worms are here. We're going to do a Chevelle update. It's been a while since I've done one, and I've attempted to do this 5 or 6 times. And then each time I'm just not happy with it and I delete it and say I'll just redo it later. I don't have any editing software or YouTube studios or anything like that, so everything I do I got to just single take it. The limitations to what I do editing these videos right now are pausing my recording on my phone. But anyway, so the Chevelle, the Chevelle kit is installed. The quick performance rear end is here with quick performance axles. The massive, which is MSS suspensions, which is these things here. The whole triangulated 4-link setup it's massive suspension systems. Let me see if I've got their card here. Let's see if you can see this. This right here is where I got this stuff from. It's all American made stuff. I ordered this stuff at like 11 o'clock on a Thursday night, and I believe I got it on Tuesday. It shipped the next day, and I wasn't expecting it that quick, but I got it like the next Tuesday or Wednesday, shipping from Chicago to southern Kansas. So I was pretty pleased with their performance as far as getting the stuff out the door. The hardware, it seems really good. Again, it's all American made stuff. The rod ends are American made, so it seems like it's pretty good stuff. But anyway, we've got the chassis painted, and you can see here where I've been scuffing on it. I think I'm just going to have to take this thing in and get it powder coated. You can see also there where I was dinking around with some stuff. I wasn't happy with the silver. I was kind of trying to do this red, white, and blue thing back here, even though nobody's going to see that, but it would make my soul happy. But I was substituting the white for the silver and was just really not happy with the way the silver paint laid out. So I started sanding it back off, just dinking around with that to see, about doing some of the Eastwood chassis black and stuff like that. And I've pretty much talked myself into just taking the thing. There's several places here in town, taking it and getting it blasted and powder coated. It's this far apart, and again, that kind of goes against the theory of what we're trying to do with it, because we're trying to keep this a real budget project, but that's really just the best way to do it, and in my opinion, for what I've got going on right now, the only real right way to do it. And I don't want the frame to be rusted out on this thing and all nasty and crusty in 10 years, so we're just gonna get it blasted and coated. So I've kind of paused on that though, because I'm trying to do stuff where I don't have to spend any money on this car right now, because the motor's coming back for that car probably next month, somewhere around the 1st or 2nd week of April. I'm hoping that will be, or mid-April, it should be back in my hands. The chassis shop, the engine shop is just waiting on me to come up with my final payment, which that'll be this month, and then that thing's done. And I don't think there's any real work left to do to it other than dyno it. I think the motor's done. So, real excited for that. We're looking for a big number out of that Foxwell Motorsports. That's who's got it. Scott Foxwell's got it. So we're looking for a good number for a pump gas 532, solid 8s or something. But that's kind of where we're at right now. So I'm not buying any brakes or wheels or tires to make this thing a roller, to put it back under the body, which is in there. I'm not doing any of that right now, because I'm taking all that financial resource and pumping it into getting the motor back for that thing. And sorry, gang, I paused the video there. Fire truck was going by. So again, all the financial resources that I have right now that are play money are going into paying off that motor. That was a pretty expensive endeavor, and the engine builder knew that towards the end of the project that his labor bill would outrun my payments. There's no issue there. There's no problem. He's cool with it. Him and I have been talking about this for a long time, blah, blah, blah. So there's no sending a motor out to get it built and not having any money to back it up. it was expensive and I had to pay a little bit at a time, but we're about there. So we'll be racing that thing again 2024, and then once that car's ready, transmission's back here, converters back there with it. I've done all the cleaning, maintenancing, nut and bolt check, winter upgrades, blah blah blah. Probably the only other thing that'll happen is after the motor gets back and we get it dynoed, we're going to put the converter in the car and see what it does, but we should be a couple hundred horsepower better than what that converter was built for. So I'm expecting that we're probably not going to put up the stellar numbers. We're going to look at the data, playback tack. We're going to make sure that it's not blowing through the converter, but I'm fully anticipating probably having to put a converter in it. So, but until all that happens, the pause button had been hit on this financially. I'm still doing the work, but this is not going to be the rolling chassis that I'm going to put back underneath the body of the car until that is doing its thing. Now, man, another fire truck. Now let's go out to the body shop real quick. Okay, this is the McFrazzle Body Shop. You done seen it before. It ain't nothing fancy, but it's getting me by. It's getting the stuff done. So, if you're just catching up with everything, 69 Malibu, vinyl top car, we're going back with vinyl top. You can see that we still have all the plugs or nails or whatever you call those things for the vinyl top on the car. However, because it's a Malibu, it came with this lower trim that was down here below this body line, and I am no fan of that stuff. I do not like the way that stuff looks. I tried to like it, and I tried to tell myself that I liked it and stuff like that, just so I could take the easy way out and buy the trim and put it back on the car. And every time I looked at those spots, I was like, I don't want to put that shit back on there. So today I finally went and I ground them all off, and I've done a spot weld there, and I've got one more to do there. I think there's one right there in that spot. I think there's a place where I got a spot weld to hold back in the body. And I'm going to go ahead and get these all done and worked and back in. I'm going to put the body filler on them tomorrow morning. And hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, I'll have this side primed again. Now the other side, I have already sanded all these down just like this. Gone over it with the DA and the paddle sander and all that, and ground it down to where I'm happy enough to start working that back over with just primer and filler. However, I don't have an extension cord long enough to get my welder over there. That is about the farthest point that I can reach with my welder, so I've got to get an actual extension cord. Instead, what I got is, when I built the power supply to my garage, I had a bunch of that 6 gauge left over. I just spent $15 and went and got that male plug-in and that junction box with a female plug-in on it so that I could use what I had. But I'm gonna have to break down and spend $100 on a 50 amp extension cord so I can get to the far side over there and do these welds there, and there, because this body is not moving right now, as you can see. And that's just the way it goes, so, but that's pretty much where we're at with the Chevelle. It's been slow through the winter. I definitely slowed down on it. I wasn't sticking to the work on it a little bit every single day, but I was working on it a couple of times a week, but it's still, progress was slow. It was winter time. I wasn't dedicating 4 and 5 and 6 hours, hour here and there maybe, but that's where we're at with it. But now that we're getting back into the 70s in southern Kansas, we're gonna be able to spend some time outside working on it. So yeah, you can see this side. I did a lot better of a job sanding these off. I didn't get into the body near as much. And something I've got to do is I'm going to practice spot welding a little bit more before I go at that side. I've already done this side, so the damage is done, so to speak. but I am going to take some scrap sheet metal and practice spot welding a little bit more before I do the other side. So anyway, gang, that's the Chevelle update, so I'll catch you all later.